Hi everyone, Jeremy Bailey, your Flying Realtor here. Today we're going to be talking about mortgages, specifically purchase mortgages when you're purchasing a property. We're going to talk about some of the changes that have happened in the last few weeks, given all this craziness that's going on in the world. We're going to be talking about how we are safely going through the application process, the appraisal process, the closing, and everything in between. I have a special guest that's going to be joining us today, Suzanne Caldeira from Guaranteed Rate Mortgage, and I'm going to be asking her a series of questions and asking her for her expertise and insight on the market. All right, so let's head over and talk to Suzanne. Jeremy Bailey, your Flying Realtor here. We have in studio today Suzanne Caldeira. She's a mortgage lender with Guaranteed Rate Mortgage. Everyone say hi to everyone, Suzanne.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. As you can imagine, there's a lot going on right now, and we're getting a lot of information flying around in regards to mortgages. And one of the calls I made to you was trying to find out, this is what I'm finding. Are you seeing the same issues? So I figured let's jump on a call, let's record it, and let's get it out so people can actually get some facts as to what's going on in the lending area of the business right now. One, I wanted to get the FHA information out there because that scared the bejesus out of me when I heard that the other day. And then I heard agents nationwide in this chat group that I'm in, they're saying they've had the same issues with the FHA mortgages. And here I am thinking, like, great, my FHA mortgage just dried up. I'm not gonna be able to do FHA mortgages. That's going to seriously hurt my business till this gets figured out. So then, you know me, now I'm calling everyone. I'm like, everyone on my phone, I save like Suzanne Caldeira, lender. Okay, so I just type in lender in my contacts and I'm calling them all frantically. Be like, what are you seeing? Oh no, what are you seeing? Oh no, I'm like, oh, wait, are you sure? Are you sure everything's okay, Suzanne? You know what? Yeah, let me run a scenario right now. 620 credit score, here's the rate. And it was a normal rate with normal closing costs. And that made me feel so much better. It was a huge sigh of relief. Thank you so much for taking my call the other day and for coming on today and explaining everything. I really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone that's watching this is going to appreciate it, as well as realtors too, that we're starting to freak out like I was. My first question for you, and that's what's on everyone's mind, is FHA mortgages, okay? I'm hearing from a lot of lenders that their FHA mortgage lending has either dried up or the cost to close them has gotten so ridiculous, you know, $12,000 in points, that they're not even able to write FHA mortgages. Now, if you could explain a little bit about that, does the credit score have anything to do with that? Are you being affected by that?
Yeah, I'll do my best to explain it in as simplistic of a way as possible, especially for people watching this. And sometimes even me, doing this 19 years, it's even tough for me to get my head around sometimes. I love the interaction, like interacting with you and clients, and the inside baseball, as I like to joke about, is stuff that normally doesn't excite me, but I have to make it exciting right now because it's ever changing. So here it is in a nutshell. When a lender is a direct seller servicer, that means that they answer directly to the agencies. So for FHA, that's Ginnie Mae. And when you go direct to the agency, whatever the FHA guideline is, it is. So if you're a consumer, if you go to HUD.gov, you can actually see the lender's handbook. The beauty of lending nowadays is that it's fully transparent. Now you've got the next level of lenders. They may be a lender, they may close something in their name. However, they're working with a line of credit, and Guaranteed Rate works with a line of credit as well. However, those lenders are answering to another person who then buys the loan from them. So that person might say, sure, we know what's going on, and we know that FHA hasn't made any changes, but we're really getting nervous on what's going on in the market and why investors are trying to run for mortgages, and we really feel that people are going to have issues. So instead of lending the way HUD says that you should lend as a lender, we're saying that we want to make that bar a little bit higher. So that's why, and you and I had started having this conversation earlier, Jeremy, was you're seeing lenders saying, hey, anything below 680 can't be done. And no, that's not true right now. Now, we may change our position as a lender, but as of now, no. If the loan makes sense, we're going to do the loan.
Okay. All right. What's the minimum credit score that someone could have and get an FHA mortgage from Guaranteed Rate right now?
For us, it's 580. Now, that's not
580.
an automatic, woohoo, you're approved.
Mhm.
Know that someone that's got a lower credit score is going to be looked at a little, with a little more discernment, so to speak,
Mhm.
making
Mhm.
certain that their ability to pay is there. In every mortgage, you make sure that there's an ability to pay. But for
Sure.
that particular client, there may be a requirement that we see that they have reserves or money left over in the bank after closing. But our minimum credit score is 580.
Okay. All right, great. So in a nutshell, what some of the other lenders are seeing, for you, it's pretty much business as usual as far as rates go for FHA mortgages. You haven't made
It
any
is.
changes.
You
Okay.
are correct.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, let's see. Here's a question. With everything that's going on right now with the COVID-19 and trying to flatten the curve and have everyone stay safe, do you have to still go into the office to get onto all of your company servers? And what are you doing to be able to actually write loans right now? Can you do it entirely from home virtually, or do you have to go in the
Yeah.
office?
Yeah, I mean, talk about a blessing and a curse at the same time. I mean, the curse of what's going on in the country and what people around us are feeling is we haven't missed a beat. We were able as a company to transition nearly 6,000 employees. Virtually all of them have the ability to work from home. Some are still going into the office. There really is no need. We've had this technology in place for years. And I've adopted almost all of the technology that we have, but it's been fun slowing down a little bit and being able to hop onto our resource center and say, oh, wow. So no, logging into the servers, any of that stuff, it's all done virtually. We have a VPN that we all log into, and we've got access to everything. So there's no missing a beat when it comes to the client experience and being able to still do our job. So I know that for some people and some lenders, that was a huge, huge struggle because they weren't positioned to be able to do that. And I remember when I was first seeking out other lenders, and when I went to Guaranteed Rate's corporate office in Chicago, I'm walking around, I'm like, I feel like I'm at Google. Like you've got all these funky young people and all these tech geniuses behind the scenes. And our tech squad is constantly doing stuff to make changes and to be able to help.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, I saw an advertisement on Facebook the other day. You have a zero human contact closing.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you, I was a little skeptical when I saw that. I said zero human contact. I said, I love the concept, but there's no way this is true. Are there any caveats to that? Can you give us a little bit more information on that? What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to share my screen if you give me a second, and let's check out my little techiness for a second. Let's find that screen. So,
Absolutely.
Can you see it?
I can see it.
Awesome. So our CEO, Victor, had done a webinar and got this out there. The beauty of our company is, I love Rhode Island. I love Massachusetts. Depending on who I'm talking to, I can be from either state because I was born in Massachusetts, but spent the majority of my life growing up in Rhode Island and now back in Massachusetts. But I think sometimes you get stuck in that small mentality, in that small world. We're in all 50 states. So this is nothing new, but it's been a new adoption for our area. And I was even a slow adopter on some of this technology, saying, well, gee, I got to take down everybody's information manually. No, I am a full-on adopter of it. And the beauty of it is that it's so simple that someone in their 20s will love it and someone in their 60s will love it because the technology is really intuitive. I'll walk you through if that's all right, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could walk us through, that'd be great.
Yeah, cool. So we'll talk about the zero human physical contact and how that works and kind of take someone from, say, that start to finish.
Okay.
So this is from the webinar that Victor did last Friday. There's Victor, our CEO. And with the COVID-19, and like I said, I feel blessed to be where I am because I think we've been positioned to work this way forever. I still love the old school, hey, let me sit with somebody, let me talk to somebody face to face. But I think we've had this technology and now it's a way that we can shine, and we can also help our realtor partners because the real estate market needs to keep going. It affects so many people and it affects so many industries, from your contractors to your movers to your cleaners to, everything else when you think about it. So as a lender, purchases 100% are our number one priority. What I mean by that is those people, and I don't have to tell you this, Jeremy, but they're in contract. They've got a deposit at stake. So our first priority, number one, is making certain that purchases close on time. A refinance, whether it closes this week, next week, or the week after, it doesn't matter. They're not going to lose their deposit because they're already in their house, if that makes sense. So we are extending the timelines on refinances.
As someone who does a lot of listings, I appreciate lenders like yourself who put a priority on the purchase mortgages. So thank you for pointing that out.
No, you're welcome. And it's important. I mean, I have to have the conversations with refinance clients because some of them are taking cash out and they need that money and they got to close. Yeah. And being the pilot in their transaction and kind of being catchy with you being the flying realtor, you've got to let your passenger know, hey, we might have some turbulence. And for refinances, the turbulence might be, it's going to take a little longer than we anticipate. So instead of it closing in under 30 days, it might be a month or two. On a purchase, we are doing our darndest to stay 30 days or under on our purchases and to maintain those timelines because it's critical this time.
Awesome.
Let me hop to that next slide. So this was something I was talking to you about before. So when I first got to guaranteed rate, as I circle here, the digital mortgage, I was slow to adopt. I said, oh no, I love taking the information manually. It's how I get to know a client. And no, 100% of my clients do that ahead of time. I'll have a conversation with them first. But what's nice is they can take that 15 to 20 minutes, figure out what they want to do. Naturally, I'm there having a conversation with them after, but it gives them recommended options that we're going to talk about. It automatically runs their loan real time, and we'll talk about what that means in a second. Okay. They receive their credit scores and they can download their credit report. They can upload all of their documents. So for instance, if someone needs to get a pre-approval right away, which you'll see on the next slide, check this out, account check. So they can put in their bank credentials. It's secure, it's encrypted, and from a real estate perspective, especially if you have any realtors that are watching this, I'm sure you've heard them gripe about that lender's asking for the bank statement again. They didn't get page 5 of 8, or they didn't get the last page because the last page was blank. That removes that completely. The work number, so they can put in their information and we can automatically pull a work verification. Awesome. Loan Beam is something that I love. In the past, when I had someone that had complex tax returns, I'd have to shut the door in my office, get quiet for about an hour or two, and try and work on figuring out the person's income and what I was going to use. The cool thing about Loan Beam is it analyzes the tax returns. It sometimes analyzes them in under a half hour. A little more complex, might take a little bit longer. I get notified, and then I can make adjustments. If it's always going to go to the conservative side. But if I know that there's a bona fide reason why I can use a higher income, I will. But talk about the time saving from a loan officer and a consumer perspective of being able to get all of that done in the palm of their hand with their phone, or just sitting in their living room on their tablet or their laptop.
I have to tell you, Suzanne, I'm thinking about uploading my tax return to Loan Beam just to have it try to explain it to me, because I hear they're so complicated. I give you loan officers credit for having to go through all those tax returns. I even have trouble figuring out what's in my tax return. My accountant does everything. He kind of explains it in accountant speak, which is not Jeremy speak. And it's crazy. But anyway, sorry,
so
keep going.
True. No, they are. And I'd wear that badge of honor of, I can look at tax returns, I can figure it out. No, I don't want to figure it out anymore. So, yay for Loan Beam. And Loan Beam is accepted by the agencies. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they accept Loan Beam. So they accept it and the underwriter accepts it. So it's not something that needs an extra layer. And that's one of the beauties of being able to be a direct servicer. We answer directly to the agencies. I've heard other companies say, well, we can't do that. Well, that's because that company has what's called an overlay. So,
Okay.
and that's what you're seeing with FHA that you brought up before,
Okay.
Jeremy.
The overlays. Got it.
Yeah. So, hey, zero contact for our clients and our appraisers when it comes to having proper social distance for appraisals. So there are many programs where we don't need an appraisal, either if the client has enough of a down payment or if the value is accepted on a refinance or on a purchase. So that means no appraisal is needed. Or we have the no contact appraisals. So they could set up a webcam and do a Skype, a FaceTime, a WhatsApp, walk their property and the inside and show it to the appraisers. They could take photos of the interior of the house and send it to the appraiser. And then what the appraiser is doing is just going by and taking an outside picture or photos of the house.
Awesome.
And flash close. So we talk about the zero contact. Now,
Yes.
Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut have not adopted the full zero contact for closings. However, what we do is we do what's called the flash close hybrid. So imagine this now, and you know that first-time home buyer, even the second or third, they're still nervous. And maybe they don't want to tell you when it's their second or third. I think maybe the first timers are a little more open to let you know how nervous they are.
Okay.
But what flash close is, and the beauty of this is that 24 hours ahead of time, they get every single closing document emailed to them. So think of, let's go pre-COVID, and you've got everybody at the table, and the seller's just kind of sitting there staring at them, waiting for them to sign, and they're feeling like that anxiety that should I hurry? Should I finish up? And I have seen times where the attorney will allow the seller to stay there for the whole closing when they really don't have to. And I think that puts some anxiety on the buyer. So in a situation like this, they've seen every single document. So it's like, all right, bring it. They've already done all their unnecessary paperwork, and the closing gets reduced down to about 15 minutes. Some attorneys tell me it might be 20 minutes, but I'll tell you, they've got every single document that they've seen and that they've electronically signed. The ones that they have to physically sign in Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts are the mortgage and some other documents. So
probably the deed too, I would think, is probably still a signature. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Still very cool, awesome.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's just making people feel so much more comfortable with this process. It might get worse before it gets better, but I think it's just being aligned with the right partners. And there's going to be some lenders that are going to be awesome at certain things, and some that are not so awesome. And now more than ever, having the right partnerships, I think, are huge for sure. And getting the right information out there and being ahead of it.
Yes, getting the right, accurate information out there, that is key. And you're the same way as me. You're an information geek. So I'm constantly looking for all the information. What's the good, the bad, the indifferent? I need to know the whole package because we're problem solvers. So I need all the information possible that's available to me so I can solve the problem. Awesome.
You're right.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on, Suzanne. And I will flash your information in the video here so you can all see Suzanne's information. And other than that, everyone have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
All right. I hope everyone learned a little bit about how the mortgage process has changed in the last few weeks. Until next time, remember to keep your wings level, and I gotta fly.